This woman asked the question in the marriage subreddit. She says, I'm considering divorce without a good reason. And she says that she's seeking advice. She says, I'm 33, looking for advice around potentially ending my marriage to my husband, who's also 33. We have been together for a total of 11 years and have been married for 6. We are child free but do have a mortgage together. I'm struggling with the idea of divorce because I wouldn't be ending our relationship due to common reasons people do. There aren't issues with cheating, abuse, dead bedroom, etc. in our relationship, but I feel we have grown to be incompatible long term. We've been together since our early 20s, and I feel we've grown apart instead of together. I have always been a very driven and independent person, but my husband is someone who coasts by whenever he can and is codependent. Okay, so she crosses out codependent and says dependent. I'm saying this never really bothered me in the early stages of our relationship, but as I've matured and gotten older, I feel his attitude and approach to life are not compatible with mine. I've always been the one to shoulder the load at home, cleaning, laundry, finances, budgeting, shopping, home maintenance, etc., whereas he doesn't put much thought or effort into those things. In addition to this, I am also the breadwinner and work in a field that requires a lot of hours, over 50 hours a week, whereas my husband works in a lower paid, lower stress role and has more free time than I do. This has led to a lot of resentment from my end, and we have discussed the need for us to have a more equitable relationship several times over the past few years. He promises to step up and make changes, but never follows through. This issue came to a head again a few weeks ago, and I told him I'm leaning toward a divorce. He does not want to end the relationship and wants to work things out. I told him I would be willing to continue to work on things for the rest of this year, but if there are still no changes or improvements, we will need to end the relationship. I hate to put a timeline on something like that because I know change takes time, but we've also had this same conversation so many times over the past 3 years with no improvement. I know marriage is never ending dedication and work, but how do you know when to call it? I worry the resentment I have toward our relationship is too deep and we'll never be able to fully recover from things, even if he does make changes. I have been so unhappy, and I think he has been too, but doesn't want to admit it because it means our lives will fundamentally change if we divorce. Realistically, I know I only can answer for myself, but I can't help but feel I'd be upheaving our lives with a divorce when maybe we're just going through a rough patch. Does anyone else have experience with this? Did you tough it out? Did you end things? Did you regret it? She thinks that she needs a good reason to divorce. But the thing is, he's not pulling his weight at home because she is the one that's bringing in the most money and she's doing the most in the home as far as cleaning, laundry, financing, budget, shopping, home maintenance. She is doing the majority of the work. And she says right here, he is, well, she crossed out codependent and put dependent there. So she basically has a child in a 33-year-old body. She's doing all of the housework. She's the breadwinner, and she has a codependent or a dependent man, a man child at this particular point. So why would she want to be with this person? She's doing everything. Basically, she says that we are child free, but no, she is not child free. She has an adult child that she is carrying on around. And obviously that is the reason why she's resentful. When you are resentful, that's not healthy as far as a relationship goes. She's sticking and staying or attempting to stick and stay because she knows that she has a husband who is codependent or dependent. And why would that be a great prospect for someone to be in a relationship with? I understand why she wants to get out of this. She's just looking for some validation to leave this marriage because she really doesn't want to be in it. And she knows that he's going to probably crumble, and he honestly will probably crumble because she's been doing everything in his life. He's going to probably fall apart because she's bringing in the majority of the money. She does everything in the household, all of the adult stuff. So he'll probably crumble, but then she'll have that albatross off of her neck, and then she can thrive a lot more. She's looking for a good reason like cheating or anger or something, and that is not that important. They are not compatible like she said, but also he's not pulling his weight. She doesn't have an equitable relationship, and that's a good enough reason right there. Like Little Bean says, you don't have to have a good reason. You no longer want to be married. It's that simple. Now, let's jump into some of the rest of these comments. All right. Okay. Application says, this is very sad to me. So many people throw in the towel so unnecessarily. When people get married, there's one thing you can just about take to the bank. People will change. After 31 years of marriage, my wife has changed in some pretty major areas. Rather than using this as an opportunity to opt out, I've learned to honor and live for her who she is rather than missing who she was. One more thing, personally, having integrity and being a person of my word means something to me. I said, for better or worse, till death do we part. I made a promise. I'll be a person of my word. I came across a common phrase the other day. It's common. It struck me as a word in season. The grass is greener where you water it. I hate this comment. He says, I have integrity. I stuck with my word. Are you a person of integrity? Will you stick to your word? He's just trying to put that on her to try to shame her into staying in this relationship because he is a person of integrity. This type of comment is just, this is not for me. Craven Moorhead says, this is the shitty part though. You can do absolutely nothing wrong and bust your butt every day to be the best partner you can, and your partner can still decide to peace out and throw your entire life away. Bonus shittiness if you're the breadwinner, as you can also now get to still financially support them, possibly into perpetuity, without any of the benefits of having a partner. If it works out, it's a beautiful thing, but marriage is objectively a terrible financial contract, is why marriage rates are falling. The marriage rates are also falling because women are tired of doing the majority of everything, and she's the breadwinner as well. This person is upset, obviously, but he is mad because he got left and it sounds like he's having to pay alimony. Okay, application says, it's totally a bad deal financially. Glad today that's never been a factor in why we married. Here's the OP saying, I completely appreciate the vows we took when we married, which is why I'm hesitant to throw it all away. That said, I want us both to be happy, which we haven't been in a while. And then this person says, the point of marriage isn't always to be happy. It's about duty to one another. It's one thing if he isn't living up to his part of the equation or if there are really irreconcilable differences, but he's not doing his part. And you can't be happy. Why are people like this? Marriage is not a duty. You're not going off to a military. You do not have a duty to stay married. Dear Cranberry says, desire to be in a more equitable relationship and being unhappy that you are holding his hand and dragging him through life sounds like good reasons to divorce to me. Yes, I have divorced a lazy, unambitious man who relied on me to do everything. As I read her story, I felt like she had a good reason to get a divorce. Geo Omnis says, make sure you're on both birth control. He might start worrying that his coasting is coming to an end. And she says, I don't think my husband would ever consider something like that, but my tubes are tied regardless. I do appreciate you calling this out though, especially for others who may be in a similar situation where their partner may do something like that. And then East Will thinks it's about getting with another man. He says, you can get divorced for any reason you like, but if your goal is to meet someone else in your 30s, all my 30-something single friends will tell you to dance with the one who bring you. And then the OP says, I have no desire to meet someone else. I would honestly prefer to be alone and only have to worry about myself. This is the reason why so many women are trying to opt out. They are tired. She is literally over this. And once she does get a divorce, she's not going to shack up with another man. I'll end with this comment from F. Smirts saying, then file for divorce next week. This is more about you and what you need than about your husband's psychology. Some people just aren't wired to be married, period. You setting a timeline for him seems unserious, especially if there are not stated objectives that are required to be met. Your husband needs a caretaker type of spouse. You're not it. It's just a damn shame you didn't recognize who he is when you were younger and how incompatible you were. From my long experience knowing so many couples, it's not uncommon for some women to erroneously think they will be able to fix their husbands over time. And this is precisely why she is upset or resentful, because she does have to be a caretaker. And you do not sign up for marriage to be a caretaker to your 33-year-old husband. Anyways, let me know what y'all think. Join the conversation. Don't forget to like, comment, and share.